Hey there, guys, and welcome back to the Travis and Damian podcast, episode 94. We're available on anchor.fm/Travis Damian podcast, along with Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. First, we're going to talk about the continued self-destruction of Warner Brothers Discovery. Then we'll get into our recent activities, such as Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and Dragon Ball Superhero. Lastly, everything else in the news, like HBO's The Last of Us and Sonic Frontiers. So first, we'll try to go in chronological order, or at least I try to put everything in chronological order in terms of what was happening with Warner Brothers. So they had three different plans as to what they were going to do with the Ezra Miller situation, and they went with the first one. So the first one was Ezra Miller giving an interview and explaining his erratic behavior and then doing limited press. Then Ezra Miller plays no part in the film's promotion, and lastly, they just scrapped the film entirely. And they went with the latter. So Ezra Miller has, quote unquote, apologized. In his quote, he said, "I want to apologize to everyone that I have alarmed and upset with my past behavior. I am committed to doing the necessary work to get back to a healthy, safe, and productive stage in my life." So, yeah, I mean, it's just, it's a whole lot of PR there. Definitely not coming out of his mouth, in my opinion. But yeah, Warner Brothers, the fact that they had to have three strategies for this movie before it even has its first trailer is very funny, I find, because the lead role is so goddamn problematic. But yeah.
I just I'm surprised they're even releasing it still.
Yeah.
I feel like all the bad press behind him or them is just really bad and stuff. I feel like it would be a better PR move just to scrap the movie entirely, at least in my opinion, because the apology isn't going to really do much, I think, for any victims or just the general public consensus of their character. So yeah, I definitely think they should have just scrapped the movie entirely, because if you're gonna scrap Batgirl because it's bad, I feel like they should have no excuse to not scrap this movie because of all the things that have been happening behind the scenes. So, yeah, but I guess if they want to be like, hey, this is good enough for us to feel good about releasing this movie, then fine, I guess. But as we see later, they made a lot of questionable decisions in terms of all the other pipeline of content.
Yeah. I see. Yeah, I see real no reason for them to release this movie. If they still want to do a Flashpoint movie, they can, just without this guy. He's just such a problem that, in my opinion, I'm not gonna find myself in a seat to watch it, even if it is super good. People are like, oh my god, this is amazing. I doubt I doubt it's gonna be like that, even with the peak of DC movies like the Batman and Joker, in my opinion. Those movies, those were good, but if their lead portrayal was as problematic as Ezra Miller's, which is a feat in and of itself, I wouldn't go see it, because I feel like I would not want to support a movie with someone that has done, with a history of doing as much bad things as he's done, I still will never forget the video of him choking out that fan outside of a bar, and he was still just walking around being him, and now after everything else, he's still a free man, I guess. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, it's really messed up. I don't know. I feel like I don't know what's their thing with this movie, why they want to release it so bad. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's probably because they put so much money into it, and it's a really recognizable character. The Flash, that's a recognizable character, and they know that's gonna get butts in seats. It's not like Batgirl, where it's it's probably not gonna make as much money, plus it might be bad. The Flash is the Flash, so they probably were banking on it to do really well because it's a more popular character.
Yeah.
So they probably have a lot more risk to just cancel it or scrap it. But still, I feel like in terms of moral obligation, I feel like it should probably be scrapped at this point, since the main lead is such a problematic character.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And also, Flashpoint is just a way for them to, quote unquote, reset the DCEU, which was their plan this whole time, but it's been so many years since Justice League and everything else that they just have not been able to do anything like that. So, yeah.
Was Justice League that long ago?
Yeah, I mean, without the Snyder Cut, obviously. I think Justice League came out in 2016, 2017, something like that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's been a very, very long time.
Damn. It's actually crazy how I feel like they just try to start and stop the DCU so many times. Like, I just like, who cares at this point? Like, I know there's some people that really want a good Justice League movie, but I feel like it's not gonna happen at our current state of like Warner Brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we're better. I mean, we've said this multiple times. I think the DC movies are their best when they're just standalone movies, like the Batman, the Joker, Suicide Squad. Well, the Suicide Squad. You know, those are great movies because they just were doing their own thing. Even like Wonder Woman and Shazam 1, you know, both one. I don't know how Shazam 2 is going to do. But those were great movies as well because they just were their own thing. So if they keep doing that, I think, you know, DC movies will be fine. If you try to connect them like half-ass like they've been doing, it's not going to work, you know?
Yeah.
So
definitely a problem.
All right. So I guess now we could get into like, you know, Warner Brother Discovery removing a bunch of content from HBO Max. So the biggest casualties seem to be a lot of Cartoon Network stuff or just animated stuff in general. So they're removing like big shows, Close Enough, which are from the creators of regular show, Infinity Train, which is a great show, by the way. Those have been removed from HBO Max, including a bunch of other shows. Just a lot of Cartoon Network stuff has been removed. Basically saying they're cutting, you know, their costs by removing lesser watch programs to save money on residuals. You know, which is horrible. The Infinity Train creator Owen Dennis has speaked out. He think the way that Discovery went about this is extremely unprofessional, rude, and just straight up slimy. A bunch of other Cartoon Network like creators have been, you know, going on saying how messed up this is, how horrible it is that no one was really informed about this decision until it happened. And yeah, it's basically horrible that a lot of like animated content is just gone from the platform. Mostly when, you know, Warner Brothers had always had a strong sort of animated, like, I guess, lineup and stuff. So it sucks that all of that is basically going to be gone if it's not like a big animated thing like, you know, Adventure Time or whatever, because that's still up. Also, like, a lot of animated projects were also just canceled as well. So as like, yeah, the Batman Caped Crusader and 6 other animated projects were shelved at HBO Max. But they are shopping for new buyers for these projects. So yeah, I think we talked about this last podcast, how animated content is basically treated like shit a lot of the time. I think we literally just talked about that last time. And it's true. Like, I think to see no value in animated content because it takes a lot longer to make, it's not as profitable, it, you know, is really expensive. And it sucks to see them taking the sort of the brunt of this hit with this merger, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like that goes back on to the point that I made repeatedly is that like American audiences, Western audiences, I should say, really view cartoons as like a kid's thing. But like Adventure Time, Gumball, several other Cartoon Network newer properties have been viewed from like younger adults, young teenagers, and those are still enjoyable because the humor in them is very funny. So I mean, I haven't watched Infinity Train. I've heard a lot about it. So
it's really good.
The fact that the creator had to make his own like little blog post to be like, all right, guys, this is what's happening, is very, very bad. And his quote from just one snippet from his long blog post is, you know, sort of keep track of like what's going on with Infinity Train because he barely knows what's going on. And this is talking about WB Discovery. I think the way that Discovery went about this is incredibly unprofessional, rude, and just straight up slimy. So obviously he is not on good terms with them in terms of the way that they are handling his creation. I mean, I don't think anyone would be, you know, happy with them just cutting things out from services and streaming platforms that their fans and their audiences want to view it on without warning at all. But yeah, you know, animated projects, especially the Batman Caped Crusader one, I was like, you're really going to cut that one? Because that seems like a moneymaker in and of itself. You're getting Matt Reeves, or I believe Matt Reeves, I think that is the correct name, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Matt Reeves. I thought I was saying a different name. Anyways, you got Matt Reeves, you got J.J. Abrams, you got Bruce Timm, who is a huge part of the original Batman animated series, and this one is a spiritual successor / reimagining of it. It just seems dumb for them to cut a show as big as this one out of their lineup because a lot of people were excited for this, and they made this a super big thing, a super big announcement to be like, hey guys, we got this new Batman project. We got Matt Reeves, J.J. Abrams, so this should be good. And now it looks like that it is going to be shot somewhere else. We don't know exactly where, but it will not be produced at HBO Max anymore, which is unfortunate because, we know that before everything that they did, Warner Brothers, they had a lot of money, but now it seems like that everything that's happening, it seems like that they are just collapsing in on themselves, if you will.
Yeah, like, I don't know what they expected, to be honest. Like, all this looks really bad on them. All the bad PR, them canceling everything, basically reducing the amount of content on HBO Max. It makes it so, like, a bunch of shareholders don't want to be a part of their stuff anymore. Like, I really don't know what they expected to happen. They just have so much bad will. Probably subscriber numbers are dropping like flies now. So yeah, it's obvious now that they're just not gonna have any money to do like anything.
Yeah. And speaking of money, I mean, it looks like that they're out of cash because they can only release 2 movies this year. One of them is Black Adam, and the other one is the Harry Styles and Florence Pugh movie, Don't Worry, Darling, with Olivia Wilde directing that. So those are the only 2 movies that they're going to be able to release this year. And because of that, Shazam 2 and Aquaman 2 are delayed to March 17, 2023 for Shazam 2, and Aquaman 2 is December 25th, 2023. So yeah, I don't recall what the original release dates were, but I believe those were supposed to come out this year, or if not closer in the timeline of 2023. So yeah, pretty big delays, especially for their 2 biggest DC movie properties right now in terms of like their schedule that is like officially coming out, because they've dropped trailers for them. There's hype and sort of anticipation for those movies. So the fact that they're just out of cash and they're like, all right, well, we kind of have to pick and choose what's going to come out this year. All right, well, we should do the Harry Styles movie because, in my opinion, my theory is that like if they delay that, no one's going to go watch it. No one's going to go watch it because Harry Styles, this year in particular, he's pretty hot because he's currently on tour. He just dropped his new album, which is pretty good, Harry's House. So yeah, there's no reason for them to delay that other than to shoot themselves in the foot even further. I feel like with the superhero movies, there's a little bit more longevity, especially since those 2 are sequels. Black Adam, brand new superhero movie. It has The Rock in it, so they probably could have delayed it if they really wanted to, but I guess they just picked the lesser 2 evils and just delayed the other 2 films.
I think Black Adam was closer to coming out at this point, so that's probably why it's still coming out. But I think the saving grace for basically Black Adam has to do really well. Mm-hmm. And I think, there's a chance it might not because, Black Adam, who the hell is Black Adam, to a lot of people.
But you got The Rock.
I was going to say, but it has The Rock in it. So there's a good chance that it's going to do well regardless. So they basically have to bank on that movie doing really, really well. Mm-hmm. Like if it does like Morbius levels bad, then I have no idea what's going to happen. They're probably going to have to sell some parts of their company. They're probably going to sell DC. Like, I don't know what's going to happen if Black Adam like bombs, but they better hope it doesn't.
Yeah,
because if it does, then that's really bad.
Like at this point, with everything that's going on with them internally and the news that's coming out, I don't know what the hell that they're gonna do. Honestly, the fact that when I look up Infinity Train on like DVD and stuff, because obviously, I'm very much that person that's going to be like, physical media, guys, come on. You got to buy your Blu-rays, buy your DVDs when you can, because if they're gone on streaming services, they're gone forever. I quickly just looked up the DVD sets on eBay. Yeah, they're like over $100 a piece. There's one listing with both sets, and it's like $500. But
Jesus.
Then again, that only works if someone buys it. So I don't know if that's actually going to be $500, but we'll see. But yeah, just going back to the whole thing of them just running out of cash, I think that is just hilarious, which I'm going to quickly jump ahead to the last one that I quickly put in here, which is WB lost $20 billion in value trying to cut 3. So yeah, I mean, they are clearly shooting themselves in the foot, and this has been a big headline for people to meme up just because they've been canceling so many projects and so many things. I mean, the fact that they canceled a whole movie that was pretty much complete without the music, Batgirl, is very funny. And then being like, yeah, guys, the movie wasn't that good. But it's like, okay, if it wasn't that good, let us try to judge it for ourselves. Even if early screenings were bad of it, you don't know what those audiences were, what their preferences were. Are they comic book fans, comic book readers, stuff like that? I feel like even the worst of movies, there can be some level of enjoyment to them.
Right. Like, I agree with that. Like, I think they should have just released it anyway. I think it would have made its money back at the very least, and then some. But them just not releasing it and like just killing it when it was so close to being complete anyway. Again, I said this last time. Just seems like a waste of time and money for like everyone. They should have just released it. Like if it was like, still in the process of coming out, like, they were still shooting and stuff, then yeah, I think that would have been fine if they wanted to cut their losses. But doing it so late into production makes like no sense to me. So the honesty is like deserved that it lost all this money.
Yeah.
But yeah, they also had like more Batgirl stuff. They had a secret funeral screening. So Warner Brothers had to like burn like everything to prove to the IRS like for like the tax like write off and stuff. So basically like nothing of this movie like exists anymore. Not even like the Batman footage like of it exists. Like I think Michael Keaton or something. No, someone. Yeah, it was like Batman, and that like that doesn't even exist apparently anymore. So this is essentially just lost media at this point. Like nothing about it exists anymore. So yeah, that really sucks. From I guess a media preservation standpoint, like this movie's just gone, erased from time, because like they had to for the tax write off purposes. But yeah, it really sucks. Like I wouldn't know how to feel if I was like the lead actor or director. Like that just seems like a spin in the face, even if the movie was shit, like you still don't want to see your work that you probably spent years or months or whatever making like just gone in an instant, like that. I feel like that would suck a lot.
Yeah. That is just crazy. I mean, it's a good thing that they're actually going to be able to see the film, one last time.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone's going to record it maybe. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, if they really want the tax write-down to go for the IRS, there will never be revenue for the movie first off, and they would probably have to destroy all the footage, pretty much burn it. So, yeah, I mean... We'll see how true that is in the coming weeks. I would not be surprised to see a random MP4 link somewhere online about this movie, but we'll see about that. But yeah, I mean, they have been keeping everything under wraps. We've only seen sort of images and sort of pictures from actors and directors and things like that. So, we'll keep an eye on this news story, obviously, but I think that them being able to actually see the movie one last time before it gets vaulted into the WB wherever vault, whatever, forever. That's kind of nice, but at the same time, it's a one flower in this giant pail of garbage, I guess. I don't know.
But basically, yeah. Again, it's cool to get to see it one last time, but it being gone forever, that sucks.
All right, so we'll get into our recent activities. Do you want me to go first? Obviously, I have a lot of things here, but
I could go first because I didn't do too much. Obviously, I was on vacation, so I didn't really like play anything. So, but when I did came back, it was been a week already. I played more Xenoblade 3. The game's still really good. I didn't play much of it, but because school started as well. Yeah. But I'm getting closer to the end. I'm at the last quarter of the game now, I believe. So game's still really good. I'll probably get hopefully I could beat it by next podcast. I'm not gonna make any promises, but hopefully I could beat it by then, so I could give my full thoughts. But I'm not gonna get too much of into it here. If I already did that last podcast, and I'll go into deeper thoughts when I actually beat the game. But yeah, right now it's still very, very good. And Final Fantasy 14 had the new patch that came out on Tuesday. Did the story for that. It was really good. They're setting up a lot of new stuff. Honestly, it was actually a great patch. There was a lot of like action scenes and stuff. You could tell like they put like, since 14 has been doing so well recently, you could tell like the budget has increased for these patches. There's a lot more voice acting. There's a lot more like action scenes to it. Really good patch in terms of the story. I did some of the new raids. Really good fights as well. More creative mechanics. Besides that, I haven't tried out the Island Sanctuary mode, which is like they added like a Animal Crossing type sub mode into the game now. I'm very excited to try that out because been hearing good things about it. It looks fun. I love things like Animal Crossing and like Stardew Valley, and having that in a MMO seems really dangerous because those games are very suck a lot of time. But yeah, I'll talk about that when I actually do play it. But yeah, that's really all I've been doing. So.
All right. So if you don't mind me, I'm going to go off for a bit. So first thing I did, Long Island Retro Gaming Expo. It's been a few years since I went, and I have not been in the gaming collecting scene for a while. So I was like, all right, let me go and see what all the hubbub is about. I know, the games there, everyone knows what they have, obviously. So, prices are going to be this, and this. And Damian, if you thought the last time we went, it was expensive, holy shit. Some of these prices, I was like, what the hell is going on? Someone had Pokemon Snap for like $25, which was 100% overpriced. Like, I knew that because I remember years ago, like Play and Trade, they just had a bunch of them for $5 each.
But Play and Trade was like a godsend. Again,
yeah.
I have so many GameCube games from there that I bought for like $20 now, like over $100 now.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God. No. Don't even get me started with GameCube collecting, because I looked up F-Zero because I was like, I kind of want that after I went, and I was like, that's like a $80 game now. And I'm like, fuck. I kind of want it though. So one day, that'll be a purchase. But I did buy some Super Nintendo games. I got Final Fight here, and I also got Super Empire Strikes Back. I got it for $30 together. I think it would have been like $40 if I didn't haggle them for the $10. But yeah, nice. That was at one of the first booths there. But yeah, pretty much just walking around. I got to see Jimmy Mullen again. Very, very awesome to see him. Also got to meet his friend Thomas, who was a pleasure to meet as well. Then Pete Dorr. I had no idea that he was going to be there. If you guys don't know who Pete Dorr is, he's pretty much one of the OG video game collecting YouTubers. If I could say gaming YouTubers in general. He used to make collection videos and be very active on YouTube, but now he's much more of a Twitch streamer, which I do occasionally check in now and then. His knowledge of gaming is like insane, and he happens to live on Long Island, which I had no idea. So when I was at his booth, I was like, I kind of want to buy something because like this is coming from his collection. Because the first year I went, I got this Sonic 15th anniversary statue that he gave me for a pretty good price, just because it was broken. But I didn't mind that it was broken because it was coming out of his collection. So I was like, that means more to me than it being brand new, sort of thing. But I got the Conduit. This is
oh yeah, I remember that game.
I believe one of like the first I guess like more mature like FPS games on the Wii. So I was like, okay, I'll get that. It was like I think he had it for like 18 and I said 15 and they were okay with it. And then I also got a picture with him, which I haven't before, which was kind of strange. I guess, years ago I was just like, I kind of just like want to get this and then go. So yeah, this year I got a photo with him, which was very, very nice of him. Talked to him a little bit about him being, one of my main inspirations for getting into video game collecting and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, after the convention, I pretty much went through my collection, went through a lot of things, just keep track of everything, make sure that everything's on my spreadsheet and shit like that. And also got rid of some of the stuff because I was like, I don't really want this in my collection anymore, kind of thing. Simpsons Hit and Run. I also got at Play and Trade for like $10, $15. That game's like a $50 game. I already sold it. Yeah. Fuck it. Yeah.
Wow, dude. Wow, I can't believe it. I played the shit out of that game when I was younger.
Got my money back. But anyways, moving on from there. I watched Nope again with my girlfriend because I was like, I didn't stay awake the first time I watched this. So I kind of want to get a second experience watching it. But also on top of that, I think watching this movie 2 times really solidifies your opinion on it, because first time watching it, there's like a lot going on and it is a little confusing. But yeah, I mean, I still liked it. I don't think it's Jordan Peele's best film. I still think Get Out and Us are like very close to each other. They're 2 different horror films, but I think Nope is on a different level of it. It's very funny, I will admit, and yeah, it can be a little confusing, but I still liked it on the second watching. The other movie I watched is Dragon Ball Superhero. I had no idea that this was coming out, and then I saw the fucking ads for it, and I was like, oh shit, I have to go watch that. So me and Jeffrey went to go see it. We were a little late, gonna be honest. That's a little bit of my fault. We pretty much came in, I think, like 5 minutes after. So like, they were doing like the whole setup with like the villain and everything like that, and talking about, the sands and everything. So,
right.
But the movie itself, very, very good. I honestly really enjoyed it. It is fully CGI, so keep that in mind. You won't have better animation than Broly, but I think this movie is a lot better at like building character for Gohan and Piccolo in particular. If you like those characters a lot, which I do, I mean, I like most of the Dragon Ball characters regardless, you will enjoy this movie a lot. And on top of that, the movie's very funny. You get to see Piccolo train Pam, which is very cute. And, you know, Videl and Gohan would be like, hey, Piccolo, can you pick her up from kindergarten? And he's like, God fucking damn it, I'm trying to train here. So yeah, and like the brand new threat is some androids and things like that. Won't go too deep into it because I don't want to spoil anything for any
I haven't seen it yet.
any of those Dragon Ball fans. To those that care about spoilers, because me personally, I was spoiled to one of like the final moments in the movie, which like I didn't care that much. I was like, oh, okay, so that's gonna happen, kind of thing. But when it did happen, I was expecting a lot bigger reaction from my theater, but I guess not. Because, I mean, Goku and Vegeta were there for, like, maybe, like, 10 minutes. But, like, people in the theater were like, oh, my God, it's Goku, it's Vegeta. I was like, okay, guys, all right, chill.
There they are.
There they are. But, you know, the movie is very much focused on Gohan and Piccolo. So if you can get down behind that, and also the fact that it is fully CG. There are some 2D animation moments, I will say, but most of it is CGI. But even though it is CGI, it is very good. Like, it is very good animated. But yeah, I very much enjoyed it. I think that this is one of my newer favorite Dragon Ball movies, obviously along with Broly. But yeah, moving on from there, I read only one manga, which was Sakamoto Days Volume 2. This is a new shonen about this hitman guy who has retired, but he's still super fucking cracked. So you get a lot of funny comedic moments out of it, and yeah, it's still super fun, super chill. I think that if you are down for more of a shonen like spy family, I think that you should definitely read Sakamoto Days. It's probably gonna get an anime adaptation within the next few years, but yeah, if you want something right now, you should definitely read Sakamoto Days. All right, Fortnite. All right, here we go. All right, yeah. So, you know, I did have a section in the news part where we were going to talk about the Dragon Ball event, but because I played so much of it, I might as well just fucking talk about it here. So yeah, they officially announced Dragon Ball is crossing with Fortnite, and it's not just skins, not just like with Naruto, it's a whole ass fucking thing. So like, there's the Kamehameha and the Nimbus that you can find in game as items, which are very fun to use. I have definitely killed a lot of people getting the Kamehameha and just fucking killing them. I've also died to the Kamehameha, which is not fun. It is definitely also funny hearing people try to pronounce it. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it right. I think it's Kamehameha, but you know, Kamehameha, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I think it's either or. Because when they do it, it's Kamehameha. But when they say it's like Kamehameha wave or whatever.
Yeah. Anyways,
whatever.
Fortnite. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Not just because I spent a lot of money getting all the skins, but
did you buy all of them, or you just buy Goku and Vegeta?
Yes, I bought everything.
Holy shit!
Like I was like, if I'm gonna buy one or two, I'll just buy them all. Fuck it. So yeah, I have the emotes and the fucking back bling and everything like that. But yeah, it is very, very funny just watching me myself play as Vegeta shooting down Goku. That is just fucking hilarious.
I think that's what sends me every time. Just seeing Goku with like an AK, I'm like, what's going on, man?
Or him crossing over with like other fucking characters. Like one time a fucking Master Chief like killed me. I was like, this motherfucker. But yeah, honestly, like going back to just like the gameplay itself, I'm having a lot of fun with Fortnite. Just like no build, even with building, like I have a lot of fun with that doing it solo. But when I play with other people, you know, they're not too fond of building. So, you know, no build's fine with me, but no build solo that shit's hell because I just feel so fucking helpless. But Fortnite itself, it is honestly very, very, very fun. I having a lot more fun playing it, not just because I bought the skins, but actually because the game is really, really fun. And then one of the other games I've been playing is Frogun. I still haven't fucking finished it. I thought the game would be very quick because how long to beat is like, yeah, it's like a 5 to 6 hour game. I'm playing like almost 12 hours, but maybe that's just because I'm trying to like still like try to like collect everything, but like that's not realistic to do on your first try in these later levels because they're so fucking long. Like if you die, you have to recollect everything, which is such like a like you know, like N64 PS1 sort of like way of doing things, which is what they're trying to emulate. But then at the same time, I'm gonna fucking complain about it because that shit's annoying because it's like that just makes me less inclined to collect everything on my first try. Because I like to collect everything, and like I feel like that's the point of this game, and really that's why I like Frogun so much. You know, it's a retro N64 PS1 sort of 3D platformer. It has those mechanics where there's only a single jump. The camera can be a little wonky at times, you know, but the game itself, like, you can play how you want to play it. Like, if you want to speedrun every single level. Fucking go for it. If you want to take your time, go through everything, collect everything, you can do that as well. So I really like that aspect of Frogun. And on top of that, it's just a really just like well-made game. I think that the level design is very, very good. I do wish that there were like more upgrades kind of thing. Like, you know, as you progress, like maybe like after every single boss, you got like a new power-up or a new thing. But, you know, you pretty much just get your Frogun and your jump ability, and that's about it. Yeah, the platforming is very, very precise. Like, if you fuck up, like real bad.
Right.
But yeah, very, very fun. Hopefully I will be able to review it in the upcoming weeks. But like Damian said earlier, classes have started. So, you know, I'm a little more stressed out and my time's a little more exact, if you will. So then the last thing I've been playing actually today, Sly 2 on the PS Vita. So I bought a Vita when the pandemic started, like at the start of 2020, something like that. So during that time, a lot of the Vita games were like pretty cheap. Like if you try to look for a lot of Vita games now, like Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, especially like God of War and like all of like the other Rare games, they're like fucking expensive. Like I already knew God of War was like a $60 PS Vita game, but now that's like I think 70, 80, something like that, which is kind of crazy. And I think all of the Vita games have gone up just because Sony is not supporting it anymore, obviously. But I played a little bit of Sly 2. I did episode 2, and that's about it. I'm now on episode 3. I started where I did my last save, so I didn't like start a new game or anything. So I just did the rest of episode 2, and yeah, you know, it's fucking Sly 2. It's fun. I'm still, you know, trying to collect all the clue bottles, have fun with it. You know, the Vita controls are not, you know, the best, obviously, because to bring up the Binocucom, you have to touch the touchscreen, and then the back touchscreen brings up the markers on the map and shit like that.
Right.
So, yeah, you know, it's a little finicky, a little, you know, I am getting hit a lot more, but I don't fucking care, you know, because I'm just playing a single player game. So, but yeah, that's pretty much everything I have been doing. So let's get into the rest of the news that we got here. So first up, there's gonna be a ad version of Disney Plus coming soon. So I think that this is a good and bad thing, just because this obviously is gonna allow them to increase the price of the one that we have now, which is ad free, and the basic one is gonna be $8, which, you know, if you're like really, really broke and you can't afford those extra $3, fuck it, get the ad version. If you don't mind ads, you know, if you actually like don't care about watching ads, which like I know some people don't. I'm one of those people. I don't mind watching ads when it comes to like YouTube videos and things like that. So like if you don't mind watching ads on like your streaming platforms, then go for it. You know, you save an extra $3. I think it's weird for most people just because when you buy a streaming service, you don't get those ads like most of the time. But now that there's going to be these other tiers of it where there's going to be ads and things like that, you know, I think that that's going to be a lot more of a normal thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine to have cheaper options like that. But at that point, I'm gonna like spring for the more expensive version, just not have ads. Like I feel like $3, I'm like whatever. I'll just pay for it not to have the ads at that point. At least that's how I'm thinking. Like yeah, whatever. I don't want to deal with the ads. Like might as well just pay for the more expensive version. But I know for some people, like, you know, every dollar is worth a lot, so they're gonna be like, oh no, I'm gonna get the ad free or the ad version instead, which is fine. I think it should be cheaper. I think it should be like $5 or something cheaper than the ad free version. But again, I think it's cool to have options. But isn't this increasing the base price of I actually don't know how much Disney Plus is right now. Forgot.
I think I mean they're gonna increase it to $10.99, but I think if you try to sign up for Disney Plus now, I mean I can't look just because I'm fucking signed into it. I'm pretty sure the same is for you. But yeah, I mean, okay, right now it's $8. So this new basic one is just going to be that $8 tier, and then the one that we have is going to increase to $10.99. So yeah, but I think me and my brother signed up for like the 2 to 3 year plan, and I think that's going to run out soon because I think we're gonna approach that mark soon, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my we pay for the year, so
okay.
Yeah, so that's
I think
why
that's
I
gonna
forgot.
increase too.
Yeah, all right. Well, that kind of sucks, but I guess it's fine to have a a ad version of the service for cheaper, but it's gonna be like what the price of this was, so not really. So it kind of sucks.
Yeah,
just because it's gonna be a price increase. I mean, we've been seeing that a lot. Of these things, Netflix always raises their prices and shit, and just with the change in times, the PS5 actually increased in price outside of the US, and people are not happy about that just because inflation. But it is what it is, I guess. It sucks. I wish it didn't have to be like that, but I guess it is. So but yeah, for anyone that wants to save some money, then yeah, you could go for the ad version. But for me personally, I will always try to go for no ads because I'm paying for it, so I want to make sure it's a seamless experience. So
I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I think that they were going to increase the prices anyway. So to anyone that was going to, I guess, now subscribe to Disney Plus, if you want to experience the no ad version, then fucking do it right now. I think that this was their strategy the whole time, just behind closed doors. It was gonna be like, all right, so we're gonna offer it for real cheap. We're gonna offer all these bundles. You just gotta sign up for this amount of time, and you'll be paying not as much every single month, which is what me and my brother did for 3 years. I forget exactly how much we paid. And then after that, it's all right, so now we're gonna increase the price because now you're locked in. You wanna watch all these fucking Marvel shows, these Star Wars shows, and our endless backlog of fucking everything else. So you're gonna stick around, right? It's all right, you got me. I guess I'm paying $10.99 now. So, but yeah, I think that Disney can get away with it because they're fucking Disney. Netflix can't do that because, especially as of recently, Netflix has been really bad with their content, and they just haven't been having all that much stuff. I think after Stranger Things, you're gonna lose a lot of interest in terms of original programs unless you really want to watch the bad reality shows that they have on there. But yeah, the streaming wars is definitely upon us, and I think that before HBO Max was on top, but I think Disney is gonna definitely take over.
I mean, at least it's good that Disney Plus has content now. With this price increase, if you like Marvel or Star Wars, I do think it's worth it. Just because there's a lot of, even if you think the Marvel shows are maybe lower quality than the movies or whatever, I still think they're pretty enjoyable to watch. And you're probably if you are a Marvel or Star Wars fan, you probably are subscribed to it already. But if you're not, then I think this is a good time to jump into it, just because there's a lot of things to watch and consume and stuff. So that's always good. So yeah, I definitely think Disney Plus is one of the better live service platforms if you're into that stuff like we are. Netflix is definitely not as good, and HBO, obviously we talked about, is not going through a great time right now. So yeah, I definitely think Disney Plus is one of the better ones so far. So there's that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Disney Plus, we got some more news with them. Speaking of things getting removed from platforms, Avatar is going to be remastered in theaters. So it's coming back to theaters. Makes sense because, Avatar 2 is coming out. But it is getting removed from Disney Plus. So that kind of sucks. It makes sense to want to do this because the movie is 10 years old at this point or something.
Yeah.
Or more than that, right?
No, so they remastered it for 4K, high dynamic range, and all that shit.
Yeah. So they made it prettier, which is what that movie is really made for. It's to be pretty. I mean, I'm not gonna watch it in theaters again, but it kind of sucks because I kind of did want to rewatch this movie before The Way of Water came out.
So it is gonna come back to Disney Plus at an unspecified time before December 16th. So if you don't want to watch it in theaters, you can't watch it on Disney Plus. But I mean, that might be a good thing because you're gonna be forced to rewatch it a lot closer to its release.
Yeah, that's fair.
But then again, I mean, I don't know why they can't just have both. If you want to see the super pretty 4K dynamic version in theaters, you go to fucking theaters. But I guess they're really trying to get their money's worth. If someone's like, well, I don't have time to watch it closer to when it comes out. So if I really want to watch it now, I guess I have to go to the theater and watch it, which feels bad for them because they're already paying for Disney Plus, or if not, now they have to pay for a movie ticket or whatever, it just seems... just money grabby, just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, they're definitely gonna like try to capitalize on the sequel and people who didn't watch it before it comes out, just because again the movie's so old, so it makes sense for them to like just re-release it and make easy money. I mean, it's basically the same thing with everything now. You know, with games as well, like remake a game, remaster it, easy money. I mean, I buy it, so like I'm not like immune to that either.
Yeah,
and I think it's a smart way to sort of, I guess, get people back to be excited about Avatar, because like I don't know too many people that are really that excited for it. They're like it's gonna do really well because it's a spectacle to watch it. Like I'm probably gonna watch it because it's gonna be pretty to watch. But like I don't know anyone that's like foaming at the mouth for it. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, when I watched Trash Taste, the episode with Jessica Nigri, she fucking knew the characters' names. I was like, what
I
the
don't know
fuck?
anything.
Girl, you know this shit? I was like, what the fuck is going on? She might be one of the only few people on this planet that fucking know the characters in that movie. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you know, I think that them, you know, removing it off of Disney Plus is a smart business strategy. But then again, when you look at it from the consumer standpoint, from our standpoint, it does seem just a little scummy. But then again, that is another reason why you should buy physical media. Like if you have Avatar on 4K or Blu-ray, this doesn't affect you. But to those that only use streaming platforms, which is a vast majority of people, you're kind of fucked. So yeah, that is why I will always continue to buy MCU movies on Blu-ray and 4K during Black Friday, obviously, because there's no reason for me to buy them now. If I really wanted to watch them, I would watch it on Disney Plus, and there's no reason for them to stop printing them as of right now, kind of thing, you know. So yeah, you know, it seems a little, you know, sussy what Disney's doing over there. But moving on, we got Regal owner Cineworld nears bankruptcy as theater comeback lags. So yeah, I mean, I can't read this article because it's fucking blocked behind Wall Street Journal's thing. But if I had to guess, they're in trouble because when they tweeted about this, I think the Regal Twitter was like, "Hey guys, we're still open. You can come and watch our movies." And then someone was like, "I'm gonna go watch Dragon Ball Super." And then they replied, "Subbed or dubbed, no bias here." And I was all right. These motherfuckers are hanging on by a thread. I think. I think, in my opinion, when it comes to Regal, the one near me anyways, I think it's bad just because of the people that go there. Like, they're just fucking rude and just noisy and shit, which I don't blame the theater people that work there because they're not getting paid enough to really care about that shit. Only the managers are, and really, who's gonna go to a manager and talk to them and be like, these fucking teenagers are being noisy? Not me. I ain't doing that shit. I'm gonna just let it fly and just not care. But I don't really go to Regal just because, one of that, and two, I think AMC, like, just as a program, because they were the first ones to adopt the Movie Pass thing where you would buy this subscription every month and you could see 3 movies a week for every single week in that month for $25 a month. And I pay that every single month because I'm seeing at least 1 to 2 movies every single month now, kind of. Maybe not during this school time, but before. You know, if I saw one movie, I was like, okay, like, this is fine. This is good. Obviously, if I saw, you know, a lot more movies, I would definitely get my money's worth. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that are getting their money's worth with this AMC pass. And later, Regal did adopt that, but they were a little behind. So yeah, I think that people are just picking and choosing which movie theaters they want to go to, whether it's because the Regal near them is not as good or whatever. I mean, obviously, Regal still has certain events and certain screenings exclusive to them, but I feel like AMC has a lot more of that. Just to go on like a slight tangent here, Teasing Master Tagaki-san, they had a movie. There were some showings in New York. Problem is, they're in the city. I'm on Long Island, so I can't fucking go there without having to drive over an hour and an hour back. So I was like, fuck that shit. I'm just not gonna go. But then again, you know, Regal doesn't have that. You know, so certain things like that, where I guess like AMC is just like getting like their pockets into like certain little niches and certain little events, and people are just willing to go to their theaters more. I don't know.
Yeah, so I actually did use Regal a lot back before. Like when I was in New York, I used that Regal. I won't be specific, but I did use that Regal like a lot. That was basically the only one I went to, like the only movie theater like me and my family went to. We actually went to the one by like the Costco like a long ass time ago. Like that was when I was like a kid, but that one closed down for something else. Like that was a long time ago. But yeah, then we used that Regal for like basically a long ass time. And even when I moved here I use a Regal until the pandemic happened. Then I started using AMC like basically last year. That's when I started using AMC. So it kind of sucks that Regal is like kind of going down business because, you know, I used Regal a lot. But now I don't really care because the AMC here is closer to me. So I just use AMC now. And I mean, a movie theater is a movie theater for me. I don't really, I don't really watch enough movies to have like too much of a brand loyalty because you know I'm not subscribed to like A-list or whatever because I basically just watch MCU movies. I know I'm part of the problem, but I if it's not MCU movie or some other movie I'm kind of into, I kind of just won't go because I'm lazy. I don't really have that much brand loyalty, so it kind of sucks Regal's going down because I used them a lot in the past. But you know, if you're not gonna be better than AMC, then that's kind of just how competition works, I guess. Like AMC is just bigger and like had more programs and offerings and exclusive showings than Regal did, so it makes sense that they would bounce back harder than Regal did. So that's just kind of how it goes, right?
Yeah, and I think AMC advertises their like hot foods more, like their dine-in stuff. Not every single AMC has it, but specific ones that are, labeled as dine-in, you can order hot food there and they'll bring it to your seat either, during or before the movie. And I think Regal does that, but you have to like get it with like the popcorn and stuff. So you have to go into the theater with it, which is, not as glamorous and as much of a convenience for people because, now they got to carry everything on top of their popcorn. Competition's competition. I think that Regal as a theater, I'm sure people are still going to use it, but now that this news is sort of coming out, people may be less inclined to use it because, if they have like Regal points, it's like, well, shit, if they fucking go bankrupt, can I still use these? It's like, fuck. We'll see what happens because obviously I think that this upcoming holiday season for movies, especially with Spider-Man coming out again soon, we'll see what happens with that. I doubt that it's going to make a dent for that movie's box office all that much, but we'll see. Because I feel like the hype for No Way Home in particular, there was a lot more hype going into it than I think after it, 100%. Which I think is for most MCU movies and things like that. But, I mean, for this one especially, it was drastically noticeable because, with all the leaks and, like, the 3 Spider-Man and shit like that, so, but yeah.
Yeah, I also feel like it wasn't, like, a great summer. Like, there was a lot of summer movies that came out, but I feel like most of them underperformed. That wasn't Top Gun. Because,
or Nope.
Like Thor... Or Nope, yeah. Like Thor, basically all the Disney stuff. Like I know Lightyear underperformed, Thor and Doctor Strange didn't do so well. So that probably didn't help like theaters that much either. Morbius, I know that was a little earlier, but still Morbius happened. So it was kind of like a more of a disappointing summer, I guess, in terms of movies. So that probably didn't help them at all. So I'm not like as into the whole box office numbers and all that, but I know that can't be good for like Regal that's already struggling from the pandemic and just everything that has been happening lately. So again, it kind of sucks, but that's kind of just how competition works. That EMC is just gonna eat them. So all right, so next up we got HBO's again, something that wasn't canceled, but The Last of Us. Obviously we've been talking about this for a while, but they finally like released like sort of like a little, not really trailer, like just like more of a teaser, I guess, showing off some of the stuff here. And it looks good. I mean, it kind of looks exactly what I thought it would look like. I think the casting looks really well done. The cinematography looks really good. And it looks like it's gonna be pretty faithful. Again, I am interested in obviously playing the game. I'm going to play the remake when that comes out. So I have like a...
Which is next Friday.
Reference. Yes, it is next Friday. Oh my God. Is it?
Yeah.
Holy shit. All right. Well, maybe I won't play when it comes out, but I will play it that month. There's a lot of shit coming out, right?
Yeah, there is.
But yes, I will play the Last of Us remake. So at least I have a frame of reference. I already know the broad story of the PS3 game, but I would like to play the game and then look at the show and see how much they changed and all that good stuff. Hopefully it stays close to the source material, so audiences that don't play the game sort of get a good representation of the story that the first game is trying to tell. Because a lot of people like yourself view that game story in really high regard, so it'd be good for sort of general audiences that are not into video games to sort of get that same experience, So, and it looks like, they're doing a good job, at least from this like trailer. So
Yeah, there's a little snippet of it. Fucking godlike. This shit is so good. Pedro
looks good,
Pascal as Joel, him saying that line, you don't know what loss is or some shit like that. I was just
my brother was also like, that was good. So
that was fucking spot on. I was like, okay, this show's gonna be good. I'm very, very excited for this show just because I've been watching Game of Thrones again with my girlfriend. So he's also in Game of Thrones, which I had no fucking idea. So I was like, oh shit, he's in it. He's in this. So seeing him in Last of Us again, is fucking great. I cannot wait to see a full trailer of this just because I think that what this show is going to offer and what it's going to do for video game adaptations to television and movies is it's going to show what it's actually capable of. Obviously, Last of Us is pretty fucking easy because it's already a story-driven game with gameplay mechanics that are supposed to be quote-unquote realistic. So not trying to hate on the game. I fucking love The Last of Us, but that's just what the game is trying to aim at. This show, it looks like it's doing that, just going much more into the story aspect, trying to show that in a TV format, which I cannot wait to see. Obviously, I'm fucking excited for this. But yeah. Moving on from there, we got Xbox accuses Sony of paying off devs to not put their games on Game Pass. Yeah, I mean, I think me and you kind of like low-key knew that PlayStation's kind of like anti-consumer, they're literally that like asshole kid on the playground that just wants to play with themselves and just fucking just an asshole. So yeah, apparently I guess they're paying off certain devs to not put their games on Xbox Game Pass to be like, hey, don't do that. And I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. Just because, we all know that Game Pass is such a great service. You pay $10 a month and you get so many games that you can play, downloading and streaming it, obviously, kind of thing. You don't actually own the games, but I feel like for most people, when you download a game, you don't even own it, really. So them having this service where it's $10 and you get to play as many fucking games as you want to your heart's content is a great deal. So, yeah, the fact that Sony's like, hey, stop fucking putting your games on Game Pass. Here's some money. Please don't do it. Okay, all right. A little shady, gonna be honest. So, yeah, seems...
I just wish Sony would be better with, like, this stuff. Like, if the Sony, like, actual, their new PlayStation Plus system was as good as Game Pass, then we wouldn't have an issue. Like, they wouldn't have to pay off devs to be like, hey, don't put your stuff on this better, like, platform. Instead, they should be building up their premium service and making it as good as Game Pass. I feel like that's the only way they could really compete with it at this point. Even then, I don't think they could ever actually compete with it because, Microsoft has been working on this for a while already. Like, they've been like pushing Game Pass for the last few years. They've been putting more things in its library, fleshing it out. And it makes the thing PlayStation has look like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like all PS2 games being only streaming is still dumb. Even if it does work okay, like it's still not ideal. There's like barely any classic games on there, while Xbox has like a bunch of backwards compatibility stuff. Like even like certain games like like Sonic Unleashed, you can play in like 60 FPS now. PlayStation doesn't have any of that shit, so it just makes them look so much worse in comparison. And it sucks because we both have more nostalgia for like Sony properties than Microsoft stuff. So it sucks that Sony kind of just disregards all that stuff in terms of like newer, which is fine. I like the newer stuff too, but I would like to play the older stuff and in good quality and have a bigger library of things you could basically like rent essentially. Like that's basically what Game Pass is. So yeah,
a lot easier access to them also.
Yeah, like just having more ease of access to these titles and being able to play them whenever you want, just like Microsoft does, that's great. PlayStation has so many weird stipulations where you could download some things you can only stream. Like it's not very clear what you could do with anything. It's just really convoluted and dumb. And I think Microsoft just really wins out in that front. So again, instead of paying off people to not put their stuff on there, they really should just be focusing on making their stuff better. But that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like them copying Game Pass is like a no-brainer. Like you literally just look at their games and be like, all right, what do they have? All right, we'll just do that with our own library. Like it can't be that hard. In my eyes, obviously there's like, licensing issues and like devs you have to talk to be like, hey, is it okay if we put your games on here? I mean, they have so many like first-party studios now that they've bought up and, sort of had them exclusively make games for PlayStation only. It kind of blew my mind that after they were making Infamous on the PlayStation consoles for so long that they finally bought them. They finally bought Sucker Punch. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
They were just solely just making their games on PlayStation for funsies? Like, what the fuck? But yeah, I mean, it should be no issue to just talk to them and be like, hey, we're going to put your games on here. And you can't really do much about it because we kind of own you kind of thing,
Right.
So yeah, them just paying off developers to be like, hey, don't put your shit on Game Pass. Why? Because don't. All right, well, make yours better and then we'll think about it kind of thing.
Right.
And then again, like you were saying with the whole Game Pass versus PlayStation's new thing, it's sort of like with the MCU versus the DCU, the Marvel stuff's been going on for a while, then DC tried to play catch up and then they fucked up. So
That's essentially what it is, yeah.
yeah, maybe PlayStation doesn't want to do that, but then again, like they're doing that in a sense by not doing anything as well, So yeah, it definitely is a shitty practice that is definitely illegal that I think should not be done. But I don't think there has been any follow-up on this story in particular, so I'm not exactly sure how true or how false this one is. But it did come from comicbook.com, which I'm not too familiar with them. I know that they have a lot of ads on their website because I'm on it right now and I see like 4 ads. So
All right, so next thing here, we got some trailers. We got the Sonic Frontiers release date, which is coming out November 8th, so it's not getting delayed. It's coming out this year. It's coming out a day before God of War, so that's pretty ballsy of them, but okay, it's coming out. And this trailer seemed to have been, it made people more hyped for the game. It shows more of what the thing is about. It's just a better trailer overall. It shows some more story stuff with this like edgy like preschooler like telling Sonic about stuff. Sonic actually says something. He says Amy. I think that's all he says in this one. But I do think it's a better trailer. It shows like the game is going for a more serious direction, which I know Sonic fans have been kind of clamoring for a little bit, at least from what I've seen on Twitter. Like people want a more serious Sonic story again, and it looks like this is going to be that. I know there was some controversy. I don't know if you were paying attention to this, but one of the cyberspace levels was apparently
it's like just like Sonic Generation. Thing. Yeah.
Sonic Unleashed. It was the first level of Sonic Unleashed. For me, like, who cares? I feel like people are making a bigger deal of it than it is, because I feel like the cyberspace levels feel more afterthoughty than the actual open world game. Like, to me, that's what makes Sonic Frontiers. I feel like the cyberspace levels are kind of just like a means to an end. Like, here's your more classic or I guess modern Sonic gameplay just to have there, go crazy. But it's mostly the open world stuff that's like what's really unique about this game. So that's kind of the thing that's more important to me regardless. But anyway, I do think the trailer was better than anything else they showed off from the game previously. And it does make me feel a bit better about the game. Again, I'm still unsure about the game. I'm still gonna buy it, obviously, because Sonic fans or whatever. But it definitely does look a bit better than what was shown previously, at least to me, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first Sonic Frontiers trailer that I felt actually excited for the game. I mean, not gonna lie, kind of got chills watching it. I was like, holy shit! I'm actually
got chills.
I'm actually like kind of excited for this game. I was like, what the fuck's going on? I haven't been excited for a Sonic game in years, honestly, one made by Sonic Team, let alone sort of thing, So watching this trailer, it's a very good trailer. We definitely get a much better sense of who this main villain is. This fucking anime kawaii edgy girl. She does seem a little more threatening than Infinite. I will give it up, just because there's a lot of mystery and sort of a lot of unknowns that we're working with here. So I'm excited to see what this character is and what they're sort of capable of and what causes Sonic to have so much fucking trouble with it. But the gameplay and everything else with the trailer, the fucking music was great. I really like just seeing more gameplay. We got to see a desert level. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the game. The fact that it's coming out so close to God of War is very funny. I think that they're just banking on the fact that most of those communities don't collide with each other. So like, fuck it, we'll just drop it, November 8th instead of November 9th, which
I'm crying because I'm like, what the fuck?
Could backfire because me and you definitely want to play both of those games. But yeah, I mean, there are pre-order bonuses and of the likes. I think that if you pre-order from GameStop and Best Buy, you get a different steelbook or some shit. So, but yeah, I'm not gonna go for those because I'm just fucking tired of collecting things like that. It looks like that the PS4 one does have a free PS5 upgrade, which is good.
That's good.
So that is very, very nice. But yeah, and then going on the topic of them, I guess reusing level design, people doing fucking side by side comparisons and shit like that. For one, go touch some grass.
Right.
Two, it doesn't really matter. I think that the cyberspace levels are supposed to be throwback levels for Sonic anyways. I think that they're supposed to be a portal, maybe into his memories, maybe we don't even know what the story is, guys. We don't even know what the fuck's going on. So in my theory, I think that they're all locked up and Sonic has to go back into his past and rethink his previous adventures and use what he learned back then to use now and shit like that. I don't know. That's just me bullshitting right now, but that can be a real thing. But even then, if that's not it and they're just reusing levels just to reuse them, fuck it, whatever. I don't care. It's been years since I played Sonic Generations and those levels in particular, so I don't mind if they reuse level design as long as it's not egregious where it's a 1-for-1 recreation. It does look a little different, aesthetically at least. So I'm not too upset about it. I feel being upset about something like that is there's other things to be upset about with this game. Hopefully, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited for Sonic Frontiers. So
I just feel like I'm a Kirby fan. And you know how many times we played through Green Greens and fought Wispy Woods? It's fine, and then no one complains about that. So I don't know. I think it'd be fine. 'Cause I think the cyberspace levels is going to be a lot smaller part of this game than people think they are. Mm-hmm. It's going to be mostly the open world stuff, which is scary because it's a new thing.
Yeah.
But that's sort of the actual meat of the game. So that's sort of the thing that's going to be more of my more in the radar of if this game is good or not. Because if the cyberspace levels are good, but the open world stuff is bad, I feel the game's going to be bad because that's the majority of the game. So yeah, I'm more worried and interested in the open world aspect of the game. But yeah, overall, the game looks great. Also, graphically, I think that this trailer looks a lot better.
Oh yeah,
than the previous builds they were showing. It does look a lot more vibrant and colorful. So yeah, definitely looking forward to the game. It's gonna suck to play this and God of War back to back when it's gonna be close to finals at that point. So, but whatever, it's fine. It'll be fine.
Hopefully, I might wait till finals afterwards to play this, but
yeah, probably will.
Yeah, I'm excited for Sonic Frontiers. I cannot wait to see what else they have in store for us to show before it actually comes out. Because I'm sure that there's gonna be one more trailer or something like that. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I cannot wait to see what the story is. Because this is titled the story trailer. We do have a better idea of what's going on, but in reality, I still don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, me either. So.
Moving on from there, Gotham Knights villain trailer. So we got another trailer for this game, and it also got pushed up. So I believe it's coming out 4 days earlier. So now it is October 21st. So yeah, I guess they were like, all right, guys, well, it's done. We could ship it. All right, fuck it. We'll just push it up a little bit, which is kind of cool. I mean, I think that this game has been delayed and sort of in the news cycle so many times. I'm at the point where it's I just fucking release it because
right.
The views for this trailer in particular is less than 200,000, which could just be because it's not being promoted as much or people are just losing interest or maybe a little bit of both. So I think that once the game finally comes out and maybe it does get high scores or maybe it doesn't, that's when people are going to get excited or not excited again for the game. Because me personally, I'm all right, just fucking come out because I just want to play another Arkham like game, even if it's not made by Rocksteady. They have the formula there. Just let me play it.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Deathloop was in the sort of the gaming news cycle for what felt like an eternity, and people were just sick of it. It's kind of how I feel with this game as well, where it's I've seen so many trailers for this fucking game and it's still not out yet. Just release it already. So yeah, I mean, from what it's looking, it looks fine. It looks good. I haven't played the Arkham games yet. I really should. But hopefully this game gets even like a tiny fraction of like that same goodness that people want from those games, because I know people are really starved for those type of games. You know, it's been a while since what was it, Arkham Knight came out?
Yes, Arkham Knight. I think that was very early on the PS4 era, so like 2014, 2015, something like that.
Yeah. So, it's been a while since an Arkham game came out. So, hopefully this game could satisfy those people, even just a little bit. I don't think it's going to get, obviously, as good reviews as those games did. But I think it will do okay. I'm going to predict like 7s, maybe 8s. Maybe 8s.
Yeah, I mean, there is multiplayer, so there is that to fall back on, and I think that will be a lot of fun if it's handled correctly. If it comes out on release day and I'm fucking lagging when I'm playing with Louis or whoever else, you know, that's not going to be fun. So, yeah, you know, I'm still looking forward to the game, but the fact that they push it up is a good and bad thing. Maybe. We'll see.
Honestly, we've been seeing a lot more games getting pushed up. Like, Xenoblade got pushed up like a month, which was like really crazy. So, you know, it's like the opposite of crunch. So
yeah, I think that I think when it comes to games, they're a lot easier to just like push updates, because maybe we're just a lot more flexible with that as like I guess gamers, quote unquote. I don't know.
I think it's also because like you could just, because they already ship the games to retailers like ahead of time. Plus, like, you know, on online stores, you just like kind of flip the switch, right?
With movies, change the date.
With movies, like it's very like put with the theaters and all that junk. So like, you know, that's why I don't think you see movies like delayed or pushed up like at all as much. At least, I mean, now you see movies get delayed a lot more, but I never used to see movies get delayed like back then. So, but yeah, it is what it is. All right, so we got one more piece of news. This was actually shown during the Gamescom thing. And you wonder why we didn't talk about Gamescom? There was like literally nothing. I watched it.
There wasn't a lot. It was not a lot.
There was that Sonic Frontiers trailer, and that's it. So yeah, you weren't missing much. But yeah, the PS5 DualSense Edge Controller. So it's basically like the Pro controller. Like you could do more stuff with it.
Yeah.
You can like customize it, changeable stick caps and back buttons and all that fancy stuff. Xbox had a really similar thing.
The Elite controller.
Yeah, the Elite controller as well. You know, it's good if you want to modify your controller. You want to feel more like sort of, I guess, control over your controller. I don't really care. I think the DualSense is pretty perfectly fine as is. Yeah. But having that extra flexibility is always good for people that want it. So.
I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that these are more for like maybe like esports players potentially, just because you could use like the different triggers for different buttons and things like that. I'm sure that there's some people that are casual players and use the Xbox Elite controller for whatever reason, and that's completely fine. And this one can be used for those same functions, obviously. Me personally, I'm probably not going to buy it. They haven't even announced a release date or a price on it. If I had to guess, it's going to be $100 or more. Probably more, if I had to guess, because PlayStation's trying to get that extra money out of you if you really, really want this controller. It does look pretty cool, though. I will say that, just because, you know, there's a lot more black in it. And I think that black PlayStation controllers are better than the fucking white ones we have. So
I agree. Yeah, like I'm still not into the whole white, you know, PS5 being like all white and whatever. Like I kind of like it when it was all black, but you know, it is what it is. I think the DualSense is a really good controller. Honestly, I think all of the controllers are really good. Like the Pro controller for the Switch is really good. Obviously, Xbox controller is always good for me. And the DualSense, after not really liking DualShock 4 that much, I really do like the DualSense. But, you know, if you just want that extra customizability, then this is for you. Obviously, like you said, it's going to be a lot more expensive. So that's something to consider as well.
Yeah. If you really want those extra triggers in the back and whatever flips and switch that they got going on here. But yeah, you know, pretty cool to those that are interested. But yeah, I think that's about it. Is there anything else you'd like to add, good Sa?
We didn't talk about She-Hulk.
Oh yeah, fuck. Thank you for reminding me. All right, so shit. Good thing you said something. All right, so now we're gonna talk about She-Hulk.
Yeah, there you go.
So I definitely texted Damian the other day to be like, watch She-Hulk, and I didn't fucking put it in the notes. So yeah, we're gonna talk about She-Hulk now. So what did you think? Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, all right, so no spoilers. I actually think it was pretty good. It was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. You know, I didn't really have any expectations for this besides I'm gonna watch it. And And I thought it was pretty funny. You know, there was some good interactions. I might forgot the main character's name. Jean was her name? I forget what her name was.
This is so
She-Hulk.
bad. We're so bad. We're so bad. Oh no.
I forgot her name. I literally watched it like
Jennifer.
right before this.
Jennifer Walters.
Okay, Jennifer Walters. Jennifer. I like her character. I don't really get, this isn't really a spoiler, I don't really get the whole Deadpool thing where she talks to the camera. I didn't know that was a thing that was going to happen, but okay. I'm like, that's a thing that happens, I guess. But yeah, I thought the show was nice, lighthearted. Had some funny moments to it. And yeah, that's basically all there is really to it at the moment, and unless, in terms of spoiler-free stuff. I think it's going to be a pretty fun show just to watch. I don't know how deep it's going to get, or if it's going to play... I mean, it's obviously going to play something into the MCU, like she's going to show up in other things. But in terms of what it is right now, I think it's just a pretty fun show. So
yeah, I think that it is definitely leaning into that comedy stuff, because, you know, the first episode when we had that scene where, we get her origin story, I was like, all right, I guess they're throwing that joke in there, whatever. But, as you get further into episode 2, it's like, oh, okay, like this is just how the show's going to be. So, all right, fine, I'll take it. But yeah, there are some jokes that I laughed to. Episode 2 with the Best Buy ad, or the Best Buy joke. That shit was funny. But yeah, overall, I am liking it so far. I think that people that are upset with them changing the origin story, it's the fucking MCU, like they're gonna change shit around, they're gonna make it fit in this world. So personally, I don't mind what they did with it. I guess we'll go into spoilers or whatever now, but I think the whole first episode was like really, really good. I think for the most part, when it comes to Disney Plus series, they're really good at making pilots, other than Obi-Wan Kenobi. Most of the time, the first episode does like hook you in and really get you interested into whatever show that it is. And I think that She-Hulk does that just as well, just because she does the whole thing like, all right, well, we're gonna get into my origin story, and then it goes back to her and Bruce, and then the whole car accident, and she has that whole speech about being a woman and always being angry, and I'm like, that's fucking valid, go off, queen. So yeah, I think that people that are being like, this show's so woke, I'm like, no, this is just what women go through, bro. Unfortunately.
You're gonna always see that now, like with anything. If it's like a minority or like a woman character saying anything, it's like, whoa, whatever. Like, I just kind of tune it out at this point. This is like, whatever. But yeah, I agree. Like, I think the first episode was really good. I don't really know what her original origin story, what even was supposed to be. I did find it weird that her origin story here was just like some blood of him went into her open wound, and then she became Hulk. I'm like, all right, sure, whatever. I'll just roll with it at this point.
I guess that makes sense. Whatever.
Yeah, I was expecting something a little more elaborate than that, but I'm like, okay, whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. She's just She-Hulk. And I kind of like the whole sort of Hulk teaching her how to be the Hulk, basically, and everything he went through, but obviously it doesn't like work out as well because her experiences are different, and he's obviously a guy and she's a woman, and they go through different, like you just said. So her controlling her anger and things are different than he was. Also, she doesn't have like a Hulk voice or whatever, like it's just her to start with, so she already has like control of her powers. I thought it was just a fun episode, seeing them interact and stuff. It's always good to see, Mark Ruffalo do stuff, So, I still feel like her CGI is a little wonkier than like his Hulk form. You can tell his Hulk form is definitely like has more textures and stuff onto him. She feels too smooth to me. Like her skin is very smooth. I know that's weird to say, but like it doesn't feel like as refined as his like model looks. It doesn't really matter because the show isn't really meant for that. Like it's fine, but that's just something I noticed. But I thought it was a fun episode. I thought I liked their interactions and stuff. She's just she's a fun character to see. And obviously in the second episode we actually get to see her do her lawyer stuff, which is a good sort of, I guess, spin to it. I didn't watch Daredevil yet, so I don't know how much lawyer stuff is in Daredevil, but this is kind of cool to see like this, like the more law stuff in here, and sort of see characters like Abomination come back, even though we saw Abomination in Shang-Chi and they're alluding to that at the end of episode 2. It's cool to see him like sort of show up again in like a talking role, because every time we see Abomination, he's always in Abomination like form. Like we don't really see his character actually do anything besides that. So yeah, again, they kind of take the piss of it, like, you know, he's like, oh, I'm sorry and stuff like that, but you know, that's just what the show is. It's meant to be more of a comedic thing. So, and I think it's kind of nailing it, you know, like her whole family life and her drama and whatever. It's definitely meant to be more of a lighthearted thing compared to you know, the other MCU shows. So I think it's nailing what it's gonna do, and it kind of just depends if you're into that or not. So yeah,
I mean, you know, so far the humor, you know, hit or miss. Obviously, I think that that's just with comedy in general. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see where this goes. I might have spoiled myself because I went on the IMDb page. Don't go there, because it shows how many episodes certain actors are in, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Oh, whoops.
Anyways, yeah, I mean, I just really liked episode 2 with them just like going full forward with, you know, her aftermath of coming out as, I guess, She-Hulk. And, you know, she made that comment, or her friend did, being like, oh, you know, why do I have to be attached to the Hulk or whatever? And I'm like, all right, yeah, that's true. You know, maybe she should come up with her own name, but she might not, because she doesn't give a fuck.
Right.
But yeah, you know, seeing her do like her lawyer stuff, you know, her being like, this is a conflict of interest. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yes, it is.
Yes, ma'am.
And, you know, he's like, well, you know, he signed this thing. And I was like, all right, whatever. I really like the, just like the subtle comedy, you know, like when she shows up to the Max prison and be like, you can't be like that. I was like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny.
My big lady form.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think overall what the show's doing as like a 30-minute, just like every single week kind of thing, it's pretty fun. I hope that with its 9 episodes we're able to see more of her and sort of see what's going on there. I don't know if you caught it, but like when like she was like looking up like odd jobs, there was like a thing on the side that like mentioned like Wolverine, like a man with claws or some shit.
No, I didn't.
Okay, yeah. See, like I didn't see that when I was first watching it, but then again, before I even watched it, I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, where the fuck is that scene? But
right.
I guess I wasn't paying attention that hard, and then I watched it a second time, and I was like, oh, okay, there it is.
Right.
But yeah, you know, they're like spreading little Easter eggs and things like that, so that is fun, you know. Obviously, when Daredevil comes in, I'm fucking all in. I'm all in. Charlie Cox is back. Let's go. But yeah, you know, everything about Jennifer Walters and, you know, her origin and her still, you know, talking to Bruce because, you know, he's being like, yeah, you know, if you need help with anything, let me know. And now he's fucking in outer space. I don't know what the hell he's doing.
I guess doing like what was it, like Planet Hulk shit? I don't
Planet Hulk. Who knows?
I don't know what he's doing.
Who knows? Mark Ruffalo's portrayal of this character is very, very different from anything people have seen in the comics. So who knows what's gonna happen? I really do like her best friend character, Nikki, I think is her name. Yeah. It seems like a very fun duo that they're in. So, but yeah, so far so good on She-Hulk. I cannot wait to watch more because it does seem like a lot more fun of an MCU show compared to the other ones that we've been watching recently.
Yeah, it honestly was pleasantly surprising that yeah, this is pretty good. I like it. So.
Not to say that Ms. Marvel was all that serious, because that one was obviously
that one wasn't that serious either. But you know, it has more of a plot, I guess. Like this one seems to be more of like just following her stuff. So. And
also, these episodes are very, very short, so it's easier to, you know, digest and
yeah.
So, but yeah, thank you, Damian, for reminding me about She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And now, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, now that's everything.
Okay, so thank you guys for listening to the Travis and Damian podcast, episode 94. We will see you guys 2 weeks from now with another episode.
Later.